Welcome, everyone. It's a Thursday night. I know it's a lot to sacrifice your evening to be here. I am happy to see you all join us in this evening to have another conversation about period poverty. There's a lot to talk about, but I'll keep it brief this time. I think we covered quite a bit of material last time. The reason why I called tonight an open night is because I really wanted the ambassadors to chime in. We've given it quite a few, I would say a week or more after the last conversation for the, your thoughts to just to get your thoughts together on how you can help us with this movement, and wanted to not keep it cold. I wanted to continue to talk so that we keep the conversation going, because it's an ongoing journey. So to start tonight, I just want to cover a few highlights on period poverty. We all know that periods are a little different. During this time of Christmas, we get a lot of, people asking donations for different things. With period poverty, it doesn't end, there's no time when periods stop, right? It's an ongoing journey for women. And so for me, that means it's a movement. We have to get behind this movement so that we can actually help in a way where it helps the kids, the people who are going through this period poverty in a sustainable manner. My thought process for period poverty is not just about the washable cloth pads, right? That is just one aspect of solving the imminent problem that we have. It's really giving back or preserving the dignity of the children, the women that experience this issue. And I think it's more important to get these people socially comfortable with themselves. I feel like when people go out there and they cannot speak, or if you notice when someone is talking to you and your head is down and you're always looking down, it's kind of almost like a monologue, right? I look at this movement as a solution to many other things, social and economical as well. Because if the women who are experiencing this poverty cannot go to school consistently, it puts them behind school. And we all know education is something that no one can take from us. It is also something that can help you sustainably in your life, economically, and in many other aspects. So indirectly, we're solving a problem of education, consistent education. You never know where these children would go. And it also solves a problem of, poverty, real poverty, like, in monetary terms, I would say. Because if these children are not educated, sometimes you could be pumping money and giving them, thinking the real problem is their fees, when the real issue, the root issue, is not even being addressed, which is like the washable cloths that they needed to be able to make it to school. I'm pretty sure there are many other things that will come, that we will think about as we journey, that will reveal themselves as we journey through this movement. But I think the most important aspects of it is what I have called out. The most exciting thing as well that I have actually just getting on board with this has shown me is that there's a lot already in place that I didn't even contribute to. Doris has done quite some work behind it. There's a product in place already, and Mendem Foundation already have a non-for-profit that we can use that umbrella for donations. So what they actually need is ambassadors to promote the cause, to push that cause in different communities. I think at this point, exposure of this problem, educating our communities about the real issue at hand here is important. When you educate and people understand, the money would come, the donations would come with it. Just like I was, pretty ignorant about the issue. It wasn't difficult for me to get on board with it because it was very relatable as a woman, but also the fact that I know how long people have periods all their lives without pad. How could that even be possible, right? And I believe that getting our children educated as well is part of the sustainability of this movement. We don't want it to die down with us. We want that conversation to continue to happen. I would like, Jude, can you please give a little bit of insight on the donation aspect, the platform of Mendem Foundation, and how easy it is to go on your page and donate, and maybe also a little bit about not just the giving aspect, also getting even the organization recognized in your job, so that the giving can be duplicated. I think it's another aspect of the donation that we don't talk enough about, because I know a lot of organizations match your gifts, and we never really think about our own organizations being a part of it. We look at Salvation Army, for example. All season long in Christmas, you're going to be hearing bells ringing at every grocery store. You're going to be hearing that bell. I literally, when you hear that bell, you take $1 or two and you put it in there. You don't even think about it, but they are now, their brand is a bell. They're ringing a bell. I just did that for 2 hours with my son a week ago in front of a grocery store, and I thought to myself, why am I not ringing a bell for period poverty? Like, why are we not over there? Why do we think that we cannot be so, well known, big enough for people to recognize in front of a grocery store that this is a movement that people need to go get behind? And imagine people giving $1 in the US, everybody giving $1, how much that would be, and how quickly that would solve our problem. When I got behind this movement, I'm not thinking small. I'm sorry, 10,000 pads is not my goal. 100,000 pads is kind of like what I'm thinking about. And I'm pretty sure God is not mad at that. So I'm trying for people to think big with, what is possible in our communities, with the kind of organizations we already have in place, and don't think about just your wallet. Think a little bigger than that. I'll hand the mic to Jude at this point.
Thank you. I will just pick on that last point. Nice try with that target. 100,000. I think the target should be that every single girl that needs that pad will get it. Be there, whatever that number is, right? If we can if we can somehow reach all those girls and provide them with those parts, that would be awesome. It could be 1 million, we'll never know. But just a little background for anyone new, just looking at going back one step, how Mendem Foundation got connected with Doris and then this project. So for anyone who has followed Doris, you know she runs Royalty War, which is a faith-based, community-driven NGO in the Southwest. And they do a lot of work, and from education to girl empowerment, and period poverty is just one of their main projects that they do. And so when we got in touch with Doris, I think that was the first project that we got connected with, and we worked on that project, and it was an eye opener. And I think for us guys, right, you can imagine, how did we get connected to a project that is so directed at women? But it was so easy to understand the problem and to ask yourself, how come this is something that we've never thought about, or people are not scrambling to resolve the issue. So we then made a commitment that we were going to get involved in whatever way possible to push this project forward. So we are based in the US, so everyone this side of the world, you have the best, you have the place to go to in order to channel your donations, or even we're gonna help with if you want to organize Zoom calls or whatever kind of thing, help with media work, PSAs, all of those. We would definitely be on that journey to make sure that you get all the help that you need to push it. So on our end, of course, you can send money to us from Zelle to PayPal, to Cash App. You can go on the website, which will provide the information for people that don't know. And of course, those are all tax deductible donations that you can make. And then we would then, of course, make sure that that money flows to Doris and to the girls that actually need it. So we are more of a facilitating arm in this whole thing, trying to make sure that those who want to become ambassadors have the best or all the tools that they need, from the education to the media outreach, and then of course the money, because with all of those things, the money is just going to flow, will come easily. So that's really where we come in as Mendem Foundation, and we're very excited, and we think that we are going to be able to grow that community of dignity ambassadors, as we're all being called, and just continue to grow it, and then make sure that we're able to put the money in the right place. So I think just in the nutshell, that's really the key. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now. I don't know if Jeff is on and wants to say anything. If not, I will hand it back to you, Ayanka.
Okay, thank you so much, Jude. I think taking it from there, I would like anyone. Go ahead, Nandi.
Sorry, I think he forgot to talk about the matching process with employers.
Oh, thank you.
Which is why I told him to talk.
I should have written those things down. Yes, the matching part is very important, and I think going through this process is an eye opener. It's something I've never really given it a thought in the past. I have seen it in the past, but not really paid attention to it. So it's not very common in our community, in the African community, and not just the African community, but in so many communities. So what ends up happening is that we're leaving a lot of money on the table. These companies are offering lots of money for charity purposes, and people are not really taking advantage of it. Granted, it's not every company, of course, but so many companies are offering it. They do matching donations. So if you work for Delta Airlines, for example, the company is going to match your donation. So if your intention was to donate $50 towards period poverty, you would go through your company and they will match that donation. Some companies do 200% because, for example, we just got a donation from Johnson & Johnson and they do 200% of whatever their employee donates. And of course, these companies tend to use different platforms to vet NGOs to do these donations. And I think the most popular one is CyberGrant, because Johnson & Johnson is using CyberGrant. My company uses CyberGrant. So my donations are going through my company and then through CyberGrant. And for my company, I actually do a direct payroll deduction on that front. So all the companies that are using CyberGrant, we automatically qualify now. So if you go into your company platform and you're trying to make a matching donation, if the company is using CyberGrant, then you would find our foundation in there for you to do a donation. Now, if the company is not using CyberGrant, they might be using something else. They will give you the option to nominate that NGO. So when you do that nomination, the company will now take that information and come back to us and ask us now for all the information that they need to do the vetting. And again, that's a good thing for us because again, it exposes us to now a new set of, so whatever that company is using is probably another vetting company that has, that's an umbrella of so many other companies. And I think that's how we will grow that vetting process in such a way. I guess we'll probably be in other the companies that do matching donations. But matching donation is really, really important because companies give money. And if we don't take advantage of it, you're just giving one side of the equation. Most companies will give you up to $5,000 for the year. They will match up to $5,000 of donation. So just think about it. A lot of people, how many people actually give up to 5,000? So you have the opportunity to have your donations match 100% in a given year. All you need to do is just go and ask and find out, go to your company website and find out if they do matching donation, or ask the HR or whatever information people you have in your company, and they will tell you if you have that, and then we can go from there. But that's one of the ways that we're looking to really grow that financial arm, because grassroots donations, one-on-one calls, that's good, but it's a lot of energy, a lot of time, and at some point, you get burnt out. So you need to look for all those different avenues, and matching donation is really one big one. And I always want to use that Johnson & Johnson example because the person that did a donation through Johnson & Johnson gave a $500 donation. So we ended up getting a $1,000 check from Johnson & Johnson. So imagine if they had just ended at that with their donation, that would have been it. But now you have $1,000 coming in with no other, he didn't have to do anything extra but do the nomination. All right, so that's it. Thanks for that reminder.
Thank you, because that's probably my plug-in for tonight, because I want to challenge all the Dignity ambassadors to be the first to nominate and add Mendem Foundation in whatever company you work with. And that would be the beginning, right? The beginning process. I know that I did that for another non-for-profit in my last job with Bank of America. And it just like you said, I had to nominate them because they were not using CyberGrant. And they called the president to validate the information. And then they are now there, even though I'm not there, others in the community can use that and, and donate through that organization. So it's great because you go to any company and you leave a legacy that people can, you never know, somebody that's not even an African might see that non-profit and they want to go check it out and see what they do. And that's it. They get to know these non-profits that we too are part of. So it's a great way to also inform, educate, and have more people get behind certain things that we are passionate about outside of the US. And I believe that we have other people that are outside of the US. I think, you know, if you're in a country that uses, you know, credit cards or debit cards or all those other forms of payment, Zelle and things like that, you can also donate using the Mendem Foundation platform. So it's not just for the US people. I'm pretty sure even in Cameroon they have credit cards now. So we won't mind to accept your payments. So it's not limited. I think we've been talking for a bit now. I want to open the phone for others to you know, it's an open mic night. We're now going to own this conversation, just the two of us. So please, the floor is open for anyone. You can do that by, you know, raising your, there's an icon on Zoom where you can raise your hand and we'll call you out. I'm not able to see that anyone who's raising their hand.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I was going to say let's hear from Doris, because all this talking that we're, you know, the dignity.
I know we're just getting behind the main brain behind it.
Yeah, all the fundraising, the knowledge, the bringing people on board. There's the origin of all of this, and she's actually on the call, calling in from Cameroon, where it's almost 2:30 in the morning.
It's 2:30.
So if you're looking for dedication, someone with grit, you're looking at Doris right there. It's been just an amazing experience, Doris. When you have conversations with Doris and you see what she's been able to accomplish, she's been able to do all these years. A lot of these things happen under the radar, and she just did them all by herself. And it's just now that, you know, there's this light that is shining on these projects. And again, period poverty is just one of them. But she goes behind, I mean, she goes after the thing with all the passion and determination that you can imagine. There's no better person to be heading this thing in Cameroon. And we know how hard it is to find those kind of people, you know, even in the US, let alone Cameroon.
Yeah, even in the US, you're right.
So Doris, let's hear from Doris.
Hello, hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Auntie Ayans, good evening. Well, good evening for you guys, and it's good morning for me. Yeah. And Kijo, thank you so much. Thank you. I mean, I'm just sitting here and I'm just in awe. And you know, when you're just being on a lonely path, and then all of a sudden you just get your brothers and your sisters join you, it's a wonderful feeling. I can't even express it. I'm really, really happy. Thank you all so much. I mean, I see you, there's Auntie Pay on the call, there is Relay, there is Junior. Thank you all so much. I can't, you know, all of you, just thank you so much for joining me on this journey, because, you know, I mean, after living in the UK for close to a decade, and I started asking myself questions like, you know what, we're here, we enjoy the facilities, and we like the way it is developed and everything. And you know, so who's going to do it for us? Like the Cameroon I want to see for my kids, is that what I'm currently experiencing? And I started asking myself questions, and I felt like it was a call from God to come back home. It was a very risky thing. Nobody saw it at the time. And so I think I had about more than 5 years of just being quiet and trying to see how it's been tough, make this thing work, just doing some research on the ground, started working with single mothers, saw that a lot of people at a hike, a lot of girls getting pregnant, a lot of girls out of school, not going to school. 1 out of 3 girls from between the ages of 12 and 25 was out of school. And then, you know, digging into this and trying to understand, okay, yes, we're trying to help them. pick up their lives again after having a baby. I mean, you meet the girl not up to 20 who already has 3 kids with 3 different fathers. And, you know, one of them is actually in prison. The other 2 don't care. The child is dead. The children are there, malnourished. And I'm like, is this the kind of community we want to build? And, you know, it was common in my 16, but then that was like the story in most rural communities around here. So we started looking at really digging deep and understanding and finding solutions. And, you know, one of the problems that really, really popped out was this issue of period poverty, when I saw that girls were actually doing survivor sex, in the sense, you know, giving sex for pads. I'm like, basic things as that. And I was working with a volunteer, a Peace Corps of the US at the time, Erica, and she was telling me about washable pads, like, you know, that would have been a really good solution for the kids and for the girls that we're working with at the time. And I didn't have a clue. I didn't know what was, you know, how to go about it. And thankfully, Philip showed up. Philip was on the call last time. He's in Sierra Leone right now, so maybe he can already join us because of timings. So yeah, so he came from Belgium and met me. We had an encounter, and he started telling me about Han, one lady who had developed this cloth pad, and he asked me if we had a teller in our midst. So one of the girls, one of the single moms, Claudine, was a teller. So I told him yes, and he came to Cameroon with one of his partners, Ingrid, and they in 2017, they trained the girls on the washable pads. And, you know, we started with 1 girl, then, you know, 2 girls. And yeah, and we were producing in my house, in my living room. That was the workshop. So we had produced over 2,000 pads, but there was no market for it. We could not sell it. We could not do anything, but he so believed in it that I also started believing in it. And then at some point I started praying, and I was like, God, this thing we're producing and we're not having a market, what are we going to do with it? And then the Lord gave me the project, Restore Her Dignity. And he made me to see that, you know, you're about building communities, and the young girl is pivotal to development. And I mean, that if the is it MENAC, they call it, is not managed properly, like the girl's first period, that is when that's the genesis of insecurity for most girls. So my eyes were open to see that, you know, for most girls, if puberty is not managed properly, you know, when we start having those changes in our bodies, we don't even know what's going on. Identity issues are showing up when we become teenagers. We don't even understand it. And all of those things have a ripple effect, and it leads to these girls actually becoming insecure and vulnerable and having kids like they're doing. And then, you know, talking to a few girls, especially one of the girls who was brought up by a single dad, and he's a bit handicapped. So the lady left because of that, and left a 6-month-old baby. And so Juliet grew up with the dad, with the mom, no education. And I mean, that was why by the time she was 20, she already had 3 kids with 3 different dads. So that was a very, very big issue. I mean, she had never heard about menstrual health education. She had never heard about her cycle, reproductive reproductive health. She had never had anything. She didn't even know when is she safe, when is she not safe, and all of those things. So put it all together, and with Erica's push and support, we started pushing the campaign for Restore Her Dignity, just trying to raise funds to get these pads to girls. And yeah, so that was a journey. We took a step and we started an office. We started an office and started producing. As at last year, we had about 6 machines. And this year we've increased that. We have over 9 machines now. And then it's employing from 2 girls who are working in the house. Now we have about 20 girls who are in the workshop, and most of them are single mothers. So, you know, so the impact of this project is not just, like Auntie Yang said, it's not just about pads. It is far beyond that. And the education part of it as well, sponsoring young girls in school, adolescent girls, and talking to them, especially the last campaign Judy's talking about, the Give a Girl a Hand campaign, really nice. We talk to girls in schools, and we noticed that 7 out of 10 girls we spoke with have never used a pad. That is very, very terrible. 7 out of 10 girls have never used the pads. They use rags, they use their tissue. Some of them, their parents don't even know they are menstruating because there's a taboo, it's a whole taboo subject. People don't talk about it. I mean, these are things that we can't sit and talk about their parents. So that motivated us to start writing the book, My First Period. And we've been working on that book. We set up a team and we're working on that book. And by the grace of God, we'll finish it before the end of the year. And we're looking at taking that book along with us. And that book is about, what is puberty, understanding your period, understanding how to manage period, understanding how to have conversations with your guardians or parents around the subject, and then also a leadership, like, okay, how can I lead as a woman that even when I have periods, I still have a destiny? So it's beyond the parts. It's a whole movement, and I'm so grateful to have you all on board. This is the best thing we can do for our nation. There's nothing else we can do for this nation than provide this education and raise up a generation that we would stand and say, you know what, we'll stop complaining about the government. Yes, they've done what they've done and they're not doing what they're not doing, but what can we do? And nobody can stop us from reaching a girl and empowering her to be confident in herself, to be bold, to live free from the stigmas that surround menstruation, from the stains, from the pain, and just become the leader that she is and lead her community into transformation. And I mean, it's an amazing thing. You see the lives of young girls being transformed. Look at a girl who could not afford anything. Now she has her own income at the end of the month, and so she doesn't have to run after a man. What else? And building and touching one life is touching one family, and it's touching one community. So thank you all so much. Our target for now is the 10,000 girls we want to reach out to, and we're reaching them with 60,000 pads. But then that's just the beginning. So thank you so much, Antia Yangs, and thank you all. Thank you all so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Doris. Thank you for all that you do on our behalf. We're just joining, so I'm saying on our behalf because I'm just starting, and you've been there filling the gaps while we were arriving, doing whatever, I don't know. But I'm on board now. So I am actually sharing the pamphlet, and I've been purposely scrolling through while we're talking so that you can all read some of the advantages, some of the process of producing this washable pad. It's very carefully put together, and the advantages, as you can see, is chemical free, it's African cotton, it's for us, nothing is imported. It's great that we're doing something with our very own material. I think last time someone asked, how is this getting put together, and is anything imported? It's just refreshing to see something that is being put together in Cameroon with African made things, and it's not like something we're importing from somewhere, and also giving back to the community by employing, the girls that are working on it, giving them something to look forward to and to earn a living. It's all around just, an amazing setup. Amazing, Doris. I just give you guys kudos for how, it's been put together, set up, and it's a circle of just giving back and putting the woman, the girl child in a position of being independent, empowered, and just able to take care of themselves in the future. So like I said before, I wanted this to be an open forum for others to also speak up and give us any feedback at all. We just started the Dignity Ambassadors. I don't want to, feed you what you should be doing. I actually want it to be our thing, something that your communities better, where you will be representing this product and how you want to present it. And we want ideas on what you would like to do. Is it a PSA? You know, do you want to do a video? Do you want to, how do you want to represent this product in your community in the way that it would best speak to the people that you are, are showing it to? And then it's Christmas after all, and I thought about, the giving tree. It's something that we hear a lot around the community in December. There's a tree with a whole bunch of wish lists. Our wish list here is for some donations for this project, and it would be great to get as many donations this season as possible, starting with us, the Dignity Ambassadors. Why not? So consider, giving to Papio through Mendem Foundation during this season as well. And I will stop talking right now so that somebody can put their hand up. All right.
Ayangs, I've shared the updated version of the brochure. You guys made some recommendations, and Daniel's done that. So maybe if you go to your WhatsApp, you can just share the updated version of the.
Okay. Yeah. I'll do that while waiting for some hands. No feedback.
So if you have any questions,
I do have a hand up here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and speak. I just see RT.
RT, yeah.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome and thank you for tuning in.
You're welcome. Hi. So my name is Relay. I am Doris's sister. You may or may not know me, but yeah. So yeah, it's just been an amazing journey as to how far all of this has come. But I was just thinking that I'm curious though. I was wondering, in terms of international funding that might be available, I mean, you know how it is for all of us here. I'm trying to, and I like the idea about Mendem Foundation. It's something that I haven't thought about, especially I'm in Canada. I haven't seen that concept where a foundation of that sort, because one of the things I was thinking about inequality is that all the money we tend to support in Cameroon, it doesn't benefit us in any way like it would a Canadian, because they have all the tax advantages and stuff. So I didn't realize that that mechanism was possible. So it's something that I'm going to look for, because there's no point sending money directly to, Doris, which is just going to be just a little bit. But if you went through a foundation, it could be matched, or your company. So it's an interesting concept. However, I was wondering if maybe in Yaoundé, all those embassies, because this is kind of part of the WASH projects, and, it can also be part of, a refugee project. I mean, anything that affects women or girls or education is really on vogue right now. But I was thinking that maybe you could spend a week or two in Yaoundé and literally visit embassies and know when their calls for proposals are taking place. And one of the things we can do is proactively apply for funding.
That is a great idea, actually, because I know of nonprofit organizations that send in grants, requests for grants for different causes, and you never know, even within the US, there's a lot of people who do work in Cameroon that get grants from other, governments here to do, work in Cameroon. and those things are granted. So that's definitely something we can look into. That's a great idea. I like that. And of course, Doris, in Cameroon, like she said, in Yaoundé, there will definitely be opportunities as well. Let's look into that. Maybe if we can get someone that we know, some connection over the pay, another one. So
Maybe only for pay, they call them for English, or you say networking. So connection.
Yeah, networking, no. we need for network here and there. So
yeah, I know Doris has been working that angle because our coordinator for Mendem Foundation in Cameroon actually works for the UN, and so they kind of have some of those exposures, but they kind of have some kind of how can I put it, some boxes that you have to check. And I know I recall one of them is you have to have audited finances for a set number of years. But again, it depends on the age.
Yeah, no, I think I mean, thank God for Joseph.
NGO, but that's definitely an angle that for a couple. I think Joseph was working with you, right, Doris, on some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them really do have really strict, very hard requirements in terms of years of service. Do you have audited finances by what by what firm and things like that? But it's definitely a road worth pursuing, and I think Doris is actually on that track. So that was a good suggestion again about the embassies, because again, it just creates another, because there's so many of them, you can't just focus on one. So the idea of the embassy, targeting the embassies, and when they have, yeah, I agree on that.
So yeah, I would say that while Doris is working on what she's working on, let's also, as Dignity Ambassadors, do some kind of homework. If you find anything that's interesting, share in the WhatsApp group. That's why we have a WhatsApp group. We have we have many eyes now out there. If I see something that is worth pursuing, I would share it. Maybe your contact can help us and look at it and see if it's what giving
and sometimes, I think there's a hand up, but just before you come in, Rudy, I was just going to say sometimes it's not just looking at the very big ones. You can look at the small ones, and especially the faith-based organized. Yeah, you're small. If you have a relationship with your parish or your church, because for example, we our biggest donors, right? The church out of Alabama, and it's to give us a certain amount every month, and it's open-ended. They don't have an end date on that. So those are the kind of, as much as we target those big companies, like the churches or the smaller organizations can also be a really good fit.
I actually think that as a non-profit, if you can even show that you have been getting donations, it's already a portfolio, it's a resume for yourself. Yeah. Because that means people are trusting you and giving you something, and you have been doing something with the money that they gave you. So it doesn't matter how small, so long as you're getting some kind of donations and grants, it's a portfolio you're already building to make a case. Rudy, I'm gonna ask you to unmute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, hi everyone. Good
Hello.
evening. Hi, I'm from Oregon and I've known Doris for a long time. I just have a question. I want to ask Doris, what is the media exposure to all what she is doing? How far has she done? Because what I'm saying is she's doing what she's doing, but the world doesn't know the impact that is taking place. I have this guy that I watch on YouTube called Wodemaya. He's from Ghana.
And Ghana, I know him.
Yeah, he travels all over Africa, meeting Africans who are doing great things in their communities. So I want to ask Doris whether she has is there something like a YouTube channel that she's thinking of doing, those just media exposures which put her organization out there for people to see what is actually happening. Because what she's doing is incredible. I won't tell you a lie. It's incredible. But if we just, by word of mouth, I don't think it goes far enough. If possible, sit on CRTV or whatever private TV station you have in Cameroon and talk about it. Show them the products on TV, things like that. That's how you build awareness of what you do. So maybe you can throw some light on that. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Rudy. I'll let Doris weigh in on that.
Okay, thanks, Rudy. Honestly, for the past few years, it's just been about work for me because when I came home, one of the things I wanted to deal with was this whole concept of the non-profits getting money and not doing what they're supposed to do. So for a long time, that is why maybe nobody even knew what I was doing, because I refused to focus on trying to look for funds, but focus on trying to do the work. And I just trusted God that as I did the work, he was going to raise people that, were going to support the work that I was doing. So really, I've been focusing on just really creating the impact over these years. And then I met Zoe Communication that started giving me some level of visibility. It was a little bit overwhelming because I was alone and there was just so much to do. And I think one of the issues we have now is a human resource issue. But hoping by the grace of God, we just had interviews last week. We should be concluding within the next week. And I'm sure that we are going to build a team of people that would help us to make all of this possible. So these things are very possible, going on TV, going on all of those things are things that I really desire to do. But honestly, the work is overwhelming. So I've not really had the time or the capacity to do that, because I've been focusing on trying to develop the product, trying to build the company, trying to build the organization. So there's a lot on my plate, and I've not really had the time to sit down and develop things to, I thank God for Jude. He's really helping me a lot with, when I send pictures, do some short videos and things like that. And Zoe Communication too is doing an amazing job. But yeah, you guys are there and I'm receiving all the ideas. And I believe that when I have the staff, then I can be able to shut up myself and get it done. And then just to let you all know as well, Papilio started in Sierra Leone. I actually spoke with Philip yesterday. He's in Sierra Leone. So we're starting a factory there. And so that's an amazing achievement for us. This lady, young girl, contacted me, wanted me to mentor her. And I started working with her for close to a year now. And yeah, I think over a year. And just like that. And now we're starting, and Philip was there. He was just giving me some good news that, the first lady of the country is looking at actually getting pads for every girl. So that's going to be an amazing opportunity for us, because they don't have the capacity and we might be supplying from Cameroon. So it means that there's a lot of work.
Yeah, I'll add on to what Doris just said. That was a very good question from Rudy, and I will use our experience and then come and tie it to what Doris just said. So our foundation is, we just started. This is like our first year official here. We started. So this is actually our first year, but the moment we started, the first contract we had was with Zoe Communication that Doris mentioned. And we signed a contract with them for monies we did not even have in our coffers. But that's because we understood that it was very, very important to capture the work and to communicate it to the donors. And if you can do all the good works, you can have all the energy, the passion. If you cannot capture that work and be able to articulate it well to their donors and the rest of the world, then there's going to be a lot that is just going to get lost. So Zoe Communications, they do a lot of community documentaries, development. So it's been a good relationship working with them. and we have done a lot of production for our work. So anyone that's ever donated to Mendem Foundation, so the results of the work, and we are really focused on growing that donation base. As it grows, we add people to that to our list, and we push out this information. We have a Facebook page. We flood it on WhatsApp. We do it on Instagram. We have a YouTube channel, and it's just a matter of growing that pace. But it really starts with Zoe Communication, or having a company, a media company back home to do it, because you cannot just rely on the radio, or because those guys, it's different. You know, it's a lot of competition for time. But if you have a dedicated media company that will pursue your projects, which is one of the things we are offering here for this project, is that we will, Zoe Communications is going to follow this through and produce us those clips that you need to push out and get more people involved. So that media aspect is definitely very, very, very important, and it's something that we're actually thinking about our first PSA. I was just talking to Ayanka and Patience the other day on this good idea of a PSA that we can do, and some of these things you don't even need a media company to do it for you. And we have cell phones. You just have to have good lighting and have creative ideas. You can create those things until you get to that point where you're looking for crisp quality videos and all of that. That will only come with time. But right now, there are so many apps and so many things that you can just take those pictures and those videos and bring them together and tell a very good story. So I'm very keen on that media aspect. Being a photographer, I kind of like imaging, you know, really displaying things in image and in videos. I actually donated some equipment to Zoe Communications because they are a small media company growing, and that's I wish they had a lot more in terms of the team and the equipment, and they'll be able to do a lot more stuff. So if at any chance I have an opportunity to help them out in any way, I definitely would, because they will be the ones to really capture, and they do good works. If you've seen some of the documentaries that they've done, they really capture the work. But that's one thing that we will have here, that it's not just going to be money collected and you get a one-line email from Doris telling you that 10 girls or 1,000 girls received parts thanks to your donation. You're going to really see a detailed media work on what you donate, and we actually do it in such a way that we give people the opportunity in little clips to be able to share it with their communities, share it on WhatsApp, on social media, and continue that exposure. So the media part is a part that we will keep growing and as much as we can. Yeah.
Let me add a little bit to that. I think also when you plan to start a channel on YouTube, which is, I think it's a really great idea for, continuous, growing knowledge, especially about the brand of Papio around, all over the world. The only thing I would say is know that you need content. It's very important to have content, concise messaging in your content. People need to take something away every time you share a video, and then be consistent with it. You once people subscribe, you can't have a video here and then a month later, and then, the way that I see people tune in and grow their YouTube following is based on consistency and creativity, content, and things like that. And like Jude said, if once Zoe is really good and stable, and that content is probably they will need help. I think they will need help because part of that process is giving them information that will be interesting to the audience. And it's probably like their activities that they do monthly or ever so often, how to use that to engage the audience in a way where they want to keep coming. If not, you lose the audience and then you lose what the goal of everything. But I think definitely a YouTube channel would be a great direction to go. With a good amount of planning, it could be achieved. That's all I have.
Yeah. We just had a young girl who has asked to volunteer. She's a journalist, and those are the kind of things that she's looking at doing. And she has a thing, half a day to work with us, like every day for 4 days. So basically 2 days that she's offering. So we're going to start as a volunteer, and we'll see how it goes. So she's a journalist, and she watched our activities over the last week, and she called me to say she wants to volunteer. So I met with her 2 days ago, and yeah, so we're looking at that possibility. So thank you for raising that. This just makes it even more necessary. And yeah, because it's a chicken and egg kind of situation. I remember talking to Relay the other day, and I was like, oh my God, the number of people I feel I need, the payroll is swelling. Like, you know, it's scary sometimes to think that, okay, in Cameroon, we have to pay from the production staff to everybody at about $1 million every month. And sometimes it's like, oh my God, you know, the month is ending. How are you going to pay these people? So, but then it's really a chicken and egg kind of situation, because if you don't have the people, you can't have the work done. The work is there. And yeah, so it's really that chicken and egg situation. And if the market is guaranteed in the sense that, okay, these parts are going to be sold, then we need to tell the story, and we need to get the people to tell the story. Mm-hmm.
And the plan is really to take it one step. Somebody wanted to say something. Sorry, I'll hold off. Somebody.
I think yes, Doris is the RT.
Relay, yeah.
I think
I was also thinking that what are your thoughts on LinkedIn? Because Doris, you need to be able to raise. I had recommended LinkedIn as well to raise your profile, right? You know, here, if I say I'm connected to a charity, it's good to be able to have it on LinkedIn, and that's where the professional contacts are. Because my thing is, we have to get to the point where we are not taking from Peter to give Paul. I feel that we need to be able to attract funding, you know, from kind of an outside source. One of the things I was actually thinking to do for Christmas, I'm not that creative. My kids did not jump at the idea. I'm hoping that they do next year, is to design Christmas cards that we could sell. They're very artistic, but I'm really thinking of ways where it's not a case of, you know, thinking outside the box on really how to fundraise.
I think that's why we have Dignity Ambassadors.
Yeah, I think.
No, go ahead. I don't want us to speak over each other. Go ahead.
I think.
Well, what I was trying to say is our goal as Dignity Ambassadors, this forum is for these ideas, right? All these ideas are great. We definitely don't want to take from Peter and pay Paul, and all these ideas are really valuable because we want the whole movement to be sustainable. And if, like you said, we can attract funding in other ways, then we will know that, you know, we have better, you know, a sustainable way to fund the project. So I totally, I'm signing up for every idea where, you know, exposure, for example, like Rudy said, and and grants, and the big companies, and matching. All of those things are trying to balloon our donations so that we're not taking from Peter to pay Paul, or chicken and egg situation that we're talking about. So all of them, I think they are great ideas.
And guess what? The idea of reaching out, whether via Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or to companies, it's all based on content, and content is based on work done, right? So like they will say, your actions speak so loudly, I cannot hear what you're saying. What we're doing is the groundwork. The thing that will drive all those things that we're talking about is content. And that's why I say we do, we take it, we start from anywhere. We're not trying to get companies involved, all these big guys involved before we push things forward. We need content, and content means we have to execute projects, no matter how small they are. And even if you're capturing this content with your cell phone, again, those images are very powerful. You start from somewhere, and you have a target that someday you would want to have almost 100% of your production being from a media company where you're able to pay and fund them and have them travel from Douala to Buea to all those places and capture them. But right now, we have good cell phones that take good videos. So the content that you can easily create at this beginning, to begin that content, it's in our fingertips, and those are cell phones. Very simple, and we can have content right now without having executed a project, right? We can have, if you've seen the one you shared with me yesterday, Ayanka, which is about prostate cancer for men. It was just men, it was just all these celebrities standing in front of the screen and saying very simple things like, why am I embarrassed? Why don't we talk about this? One in this amount of men will suffer from prostate cancer. So it's that simple kind of concept. We can have videos, Dignity Ambassadors, we give a script. All you need to do is have a white background, hold your phone in this specific way, and just say this, I am a Dignity Ambassador. We can come up with that little concept and take those videos and put them together. And that's content. And that's the face. Because you can always share the PowerPoint, you can share the literature, we can do the Zoom calls, but those content will begin to drive and attract the people that you want. Because once we do that, all the ambassadors will post it out, be it on your WhatsApp, on all those, and then you start beginning to attract those people that you're trying to get. So we start this small, we'll get those little contents, and we'll create those little videos, and it will just grow from there. And that's exactly how we've done it with Mendem Foundation. So if you have to ask us, what are your works? We will just flood you with those videos. I mean, you don't need to hear from us. You just need to watch them, and then you will see what we've done. So I think we can just, we can easily get that going. It's just ideas, coming up with those concepts and bringing the pieces together.
Yeah, that is very important, because even for us, I think for myself as well, really need a good phone, because sometimes some things come up and Zoe communication cannot come in,
Exactly.
Last night I got a call from one of these, the UN-based organizations. Through the 16 days of activism, we participated, we had a stand, and it was great, amazing exposure, because none of them, and then they were like, wait a minute, where have you guys been? Like, you guys are the missing piece in what we are doing. The cluster, because in this refugee zone now in Buea, there are different clusters. There's a WASH cluster, there's a cluster for gender-based violence, there's a cluster for child protection, there's a cluster for education. So, it gave us the opportunity to get exposed to some of those things. And the country coordinator for gender-based violence actually sent one of her staff to contact us yesterday. And they were really pleased with the idea of the bracelets and also the pads. And so I understand that tomorrow is World is it disability day, yes, the World Day for people living with disability, something like that. So they are going to the Blue Blind Center. So they were asking us if we could do a recording for the blind girls and also participate in the event. And they're wondering, they'd like to give the girls pads, but they're wondering how would they be able to wash them and all of that. And I'm like, I mean, if they can wash their clothes, then I'm sure that they can do it. But now we start thinking creatively, and I was speaking to Nicole, and we decided that, okay, for the bracelets, and identify the colors, maybe we'll do them different beats, different, so that it's different touch. So you know, when you touch this, it's actually for ovulation. When you touch this, is for your safe period and things like that. So we'll do their own tailor-made bracelets to give them a sexual reproductive health education. So that's something we're going to be doing tomorrow. But now I'm thinking to call Nicole in the morning and say, okay, this is it. Maybe they have scheduled their cameras or somewhere. They might not be able to reach us, And if we don't have good phone at that moment, then we'll miss it. But that's really something that will happen tomorrow. And we're also going to one of the schools tomorrow just to, talk to them about handling periods with dignity. Again, within this campaign, yeah. So I'm just keying into what Kijo is saying, that it's really necessary to have.
We had to get phones for our volunteers just for that, because that's where you start. I mean, if you can't afford to buy those big cameras and fund an entire media company, you empower those who are doing the work, and they have that power in that cell phone, and they capture everything that they do. I'm like, don't underestimate anything. Capture in video and pictures as you go along. Let us make that decision as to what is important as the content and what is not important. So if you come and tell us, I went out and I spoke to 10 people, that's all I know. But if you flood me with those videos and I get to see I get to hear and see the conversations and get pictures, that can easily be put together and then grow it from there, pretty much. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for all the input. This was so invaluable. I do want to share something, because Jude mentioned about this video, and I wanted to play just so that everyone would see and have an idea of what he was talking about.
Embarrassed. Daddy. Too embarrassed to speak to a loved one. Too embarrassed to speak to your doctor.
Too embarrassed. When in our lifetime, 1 in 4 Black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 Black men will die from prostate cancer.
Let me repeat that. 1 in 4 Black men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer. 1 in 12 Black men will die from prostate cancer disease.
1 in 12. That could be your dad, even your older brother, uncle, or grandfather.
You need to make sure they are not embarrassed to speak to you or their doctor about it.
Hey, Dad, have you had your prostate checked out? See? How hard is that? It's easy. Just start the conversation.
Prostate cancer is survivable if caught and treated early.
Don't let embarrassment stop you having this important conversation.
You may save someone's life.
Not just your own.
Wow.
That was impactful for me when I watched that. I thought to myself, why can't we do something like that? It's simple. It's talking about the statistics. And Doris, you remember I told you 1 in 7. You had that on your paper. Keep mentioning 1 in 7. 1 in 7 girls don't have PAD. If you keep repeating that, people remember that number is too many girls that cannot afford PAD. And I think that would drive the message. Let me give the floor to Banin. I think she has her hand up. Banin, can you speak up?
Yes.
Yeah,
hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good evening. I just want to say this is an amazing movement. Thank you, Doris. Thank you, Ayayanka, for bringing it close to us. I mean, for letting us know that something like this exists. And I am in Canada as well. And this is something that, I mean, we know what happens back home. We know back in our villages, especially now with the crisis, what's going on. So I just want to say thank you very, very much for what you do. Doris, is just an amazing movement. And your time, your dedication, and you mentioned that you actually prayed for God to give you the guidance, and I can see the passion. And you are inspiring some of us. And I just want to also say that the short video we just saw, Ayayanka, that was touching. And Jude mentioned that we can do something like that. I want to say that I will be part of it, and I will, you know, I will add my voice to it and push this forward. Thank you.
Yay! Thank you, Bani. Dignity Ambassador right there. Thank you so much.
Oh my God, amazing. Thank you. Thank you.
I think Nande wants to speak. I'll go ahead and speak, Nande. Thank you so much, Bani.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Just joining the movement and pretty much in support with what everyone has shared so far. The great minds, the thought process, you can definitely see the creative juices are flowing and they're igniting in all angles. What I was really trying to shed light on or to bring up as a suggestion was, okay, is it possible for us to come up with some kind of bullet point informative for the Dignity Ambassadors that pretty much highlights the little statistics of pure poverty? Of course, we here don't know the work you've done and we don't have the statistics, but if we can get the information, we can join forces obviously and create something that is unison across the board for all Dignity Ambassadors. For instance, what is period poverty? What is the Dignity Ambassador? What is our mission? What's our goal? What are we championing for? What is the end goal? What's the aim? Things like that would help all the ambassadors be on the same page, so that if someone is in Chicago representing Dignity Ambassadors for Papillo, and someone is in Virginia or Atlanta, the message is pretty much the same across the board. And in that way, if someone over there comes here and they're talking about it, the reference point is pretty much clear. So that was a suggestion that I had to add. And I have to say, the video you shared about prostate cancer, I think I shared that a million times. I have been someone who has been off social media for a very long time, but this is a cause that has gotten me to the point where I think I need to make a comeback to social media, just because I think that it needs to be screamed at the mountaintops, because not enough people know about it. And the potential for this is so much more bigger than we, I think, can even comprehend or understand at this point. So that was just my own little tidbit.
Thank you, Nandi. Thank you so much. So tonight was an open mic because I wanted the creative juices to purposely flow, because it would help us, like you said, it would help us, you know, try to put those points in for who a Dignity Ambassador should be. And I wanted them to be here and give their voices before we start putting together something. And we've heard about everything everyone has to say. I think I'm going to take those ideas and put down some points and share it with the group as a takeaway and an action plan for myself. So
awesome.
I volunteer myself as well, time and energy. I know that it might be a lot on your plate, and there might be a few people on board who are on the call or are not on the call. Yes. And I want to help you in terms of editing or just taking a second look. I think that that's really what the movement is about, a collective effort, and that's the only way.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes, Banin had a.
Yes, Banin has her own up. Go ahead.
No, sorry, I was just clapping for her, saying yay.
Oh.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
I actually
go ahead.
Sorry, I actually had an idea. I know a couple of the Dignity ambassadors will be around this weekend. I was really thinking that would be a good time to get short clips. It's just the timing and the occasion that surround the events of this weekend that I have not been able to figure out how to manage that. But I think it will be a perfect opportunity to use the same background, and then we can get people from Canada and the other locations to do something similar.
Okay. I think we let's not say,
I think it can
let's not postpone it too long. I think let's do it. I think everybody is on board with how impactful that video was.
Yeah.
We should share the statistics and get to work. Let's do that.
All right.
And I just like
I should have something ready by tomorrow.
I like the precision. Just one thing, 1 in 12, 1 in 12, 1 in 12.
And if you notice, they had a plain background. No, it was nothing fancy, no distraction, straight to the point in front of the camera.
It was white like mine.
Yes.
So yeah, I think this was a great conversation, guys. I loved it. It's very informal and very impactful. I think we did a great job educating each other, giving a lot of ideas. And I want us to end on a great note. I want to thank everyone for tuning in on a Thursday night. I know it's still work day tomorrow. I appreciate all of you guys so very much. And I'm looking forward to working with you guys. This is going to be big. I'm not letting it go. So thank you and have a great evening. We'll talk next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Mendem Foundation, supporting communities.